So here we have a, on the right, or nearest to the camera, a re-release 2005 TAMIYA Grasshopper. The original car would have been released in 1984. And over there is the limited edition re-release chassis Lunchbox from 2005. The original car would have been yellow wheels, and would have released in 1987. These cars are very different from stock. We've put some upgrades in them to make them faster and more fun. So I'm going to run through the differences from how they would have been from when you bought them from the factory and how we have them now. Right, so the first car we have is the Grasshopper. Like I say, re-release model. Chassis is coming to the end of its life. We have to use cable tie to hold it back together. I'll tell you why we have to do that in a minute. So, originally this car would have come with a little 380 motor, plastic bearings, a 27 meg radio system, and a different rear end of what I've got now, back in 1984. So what have I done to this car to make it better? Well, for the starters, there's another car that uses this same chassis. It's called the Hornet. It's a more upgraded version. It comes with more upgrade parts as stock than it does with this. I bought the Hopper because I prefer the look of the body shell. It's a personal preference thing, but the Hornet is a far superior car compared to this. So we'll get the most basic thing out of the way first. First upgrade is bull race bearings. You can see it behind the wheel now on the front there. Use bull race bearings, and makes the wheels and the diff all work much better. Thank you. Go. So yeah, the bearings makes the thing run better. It allows more battery time out of all that. Would have come with a 380 type motor, a little brushed thing. I've got instead a 23 turn torque tune motor in there, which is an upgrade part of the modern day. The upgrade part back in the day would have just been your standard 540, 30 odd turn. Much faster than the 380, but not quite a high performance race motor. Nor is this one, but this is faster than your normal 540. The Hornet came on the rear, same gearbox, but the Grasshopper originally only did that. Only went up and down, just a rigid axle. I have put the Hornet parts, D parts, on the tree. We used the same shocks, but we put the rolling rigid upgrade on it. So there's a slider down there where the gearbox connects to the chassis, and that allows it to go up at different angles, like that. So it can go over off-road better, and it just makes it better. Hornet came with oil-filled shocks. We're not going to get into that. The front, the Grasshopper, has the same front springs as what you would call the Hornet, and yeah, the Hornet came with these little collars in here on the top of the spring, which allows for it just makes the front suspension work better. You get higher ride height, makes it stiffer so it steers left and right quicker and better. Grasshopper didn't come with that. The spring would be a bit longer, and it will meet the top of the chassis there, and it would have a bit more suspension travel, but it will make the steering a bit more odd over bumps and that. I've got an electronic speed controller in it. Back in the day would have come with a mechanical 3-step forward and reverse speed controller. So yeah, that is my Grasshopper. Very different from the original one, as it would have been. Still same body shell. It's a re-release model, obviously, so the plastics are a little stronger. And if you're asking what these are, they're lights, so we can run them at night. Right, now a rather larger vehicle compared to the old Grasshopper. This is the TAMIYA Lunchbox. It's one of the most iconic models TAMIYA's ever made, as is the Grasshopper. Semi-pneumatic, 35mm, whatever the bloke said, tyres. Now, original Lunchbox, released in 1987. You may have seen it. It's all yellow, similar decals, yellow wheels. Original one come with a standard 540 motor. Back in 1984 it would have had the mechanical speedo. You can't quite see what speedo we got in here, but it would have come with a mechanical speedo, and you would have used a NiCad battery of the time. This one's a little bit different. I forgot to mention on the Hopper we're using a 1800 milliamp nickel metal high drive battery, or NIM, or whatever people call it, NIMI. This is running 2S, 3200 milliamp LiPo battery. Rather, it's a more modern way of batteries now, lithium polymer, I think. And yeah, they provide a bit more punch, if you would call it. So, like most Tamiya kits of the 80s, came with plastic bearings. This has got the ball raced upgrade in it. So, like I said, with the hopper, it just makes it all run smoother. There's not really that much different on this car other than the motor. We've put the 23 odd turn torque tune motor in there compared to the normal 540, which makes it a bit better. And obviously the 2S LiPo battery in here, which provides it a bit different from how it would have been in 1987. Yeah, it's just as good off-road truck as it's always been. It goes over bumps nice, it goes over anything it throws in its way. Yeah, it's a good little fun car. Obviously it does all the wheelies and the jumps and all that. Yeah, it's quite good. And yes, so like I said, the box art would have been yellow. This is the limited edition special model that has the white chassis, blue shell, blue wheels. Yeah, this is more of a rarer version, but it's the same car underneath. So now you know the upgrades we've done to our cars and the differences to how they would have been originally. We're going to take them around a little track we've devised in the car park near our house. So, we have this little track. I'm going to do a little show lap so you can see what the track's like. So, I've gone at the wrong angle, but we fly off down here, hairpin there, use these little drains as a chicane, off down here, hairpin round, and then use them again and blast away. That's a basic lap of our little track we have here. So, right, what we're going to do now is, we don't really have any lap timing or nothing like that. Can't really use our phone because we're using it to film. So we're going to use this. We're just going to try and see if you can see on the video how much better or worse the Grasshopper is compared to a Lunchbox, which we'll do later on. So like I say, torque tune motor, different from the 380 it would have come with. 18 tooth pinion, that's the only one that meshes correctly in the gearbox. It's actually an upgrade part that comes with the motor if you buy it for this car. Hornet front suspension upgrades and rear suspension gearbox flexi mounts, if you want to call them. Grasshopper paddle tyres, the rib fronts as most cars like that came with on the buggies. So, two-wheel drive. Let's see how good this car is around the track. Right, so you saw how well the Grasshopper went round there. It's your standard light two-wheel drive buggy, thin tyres on the front, fat rear tyres. It's all nimble, handles well, it accelerates quick, everything you want in a little cheaper car. So now we've gone for the old big truck, the old Lunchbox. It's a big van. Obviously the torque tune motor, like we said, and the redeeming feature of the Lunchbox does that. So that's going to make it a little bit difficult to get the power down as you go around the track. Personally, this is not my car, this is my brother's car. I own the Grasshopper, he owns the Lunchbox. Not driven this car this much, so if I roll it over, that's what happens. So, okay, so let's see the old Lunchbox go. How does the old Lunchbox go on this little track we have? So yeah, as you probably have seen, the Lunchbox doesn't handle as well with the big wide tyres on the front and the wheelies and the heavy high sideness of this vehicle. To be expected from a big off-road monster truck. It's better off-road than the Grasshopper would be. On tarmac on this particular time, and most of the time, the Grasshopper is going to be superior. It's just lighter, it's more nimble, smaller, the wheelbase is different. It's just better on tarmac, and on certain conditions off-road it can be better. But overall, it's hard to tell. It's off-road. The Lunchbox is good at big heavy grass stuff, mud and all that. You can go through that. The big tyres and the motor just power it along seamlessly. What would you buy if you're new into the hobby? The Grasshopper. It's cheaper, it's easier to build, it's strong, it does everything you want. But if you're moving on and want some more fun with the old wheelies and the off-road power, so if you want the fun wheelies, off-roading, non-stop power of the Lunchbox, get a Lunchbox. They're very different in prices. There's about it's about 50 or so pounds in difference in English money to a Lunchbox and a Grasshopper. It's choice. There's no rules in telling what cars you need to buy in TAMIYA world. I went, like I say, went for the Grasshopper because I liked it. Alfie went for the Lunchbox because he liked it. So yeah, thank you for watching. This has been Potter's RC Models. The differences from original Grasshopper and upgrades we've done to the Lunchbox and Hopper. A little run around a little track we have. And yeah, hope you enjoyed and stay tuned for more.